Understand something. Plain and simple. To me, Abigail was a delicious poison. An intoxicating, overwhelming poison. Yowie wowie! That felt good! Yowie wowie. Let me in.
That intro can only mean one thing. It means we are back. We're back, people, with another episode of Abby's Window. And wow, we have a lot to talk about today. A whole lot to talk about. Um, yeah. So as always, you can't have Abby's Window without Abby. So Abby, Jodie, what's up? How you doing?
Good.
Good, good. We got a lot to dive into today, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do.
A lot to dive into, so we're gonna get to it. But first, let me welcome in some folks. See, we got the chat hopping already. Briox or Brio. I hope I didn't screw that up. Studios, Chad Schrader, Odin's son, James Chadwick, Shane Loki, Brittany K. What's up, Brittany? Jason Peace, Deanna, Dalton Riley, Annette Morris. Sean Suslowitz is back from the West Coast, back from Vegas, and he is back here in the Northeast where it's cold. It's all good, brother. All good. Big Dan, what's up, Big Dan? Let's see here. Rare Kitty Balloonicorn. I love that name. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Erase your mind. Um, Joe is in the chat. What's up, Joe? Um, Barry, what's up, Barry? Joining us from the UK. Mark from Facebook. What's up, everybody? Glad to see you all here. And I don't want to keep delaying. Diana, hello, Diana. I don't want to delay us any further. Um, I know we got something else to start out with, so let's start there, and then we'll get to all the Wyndham news.
So, as always, we've got Caleb's Corner first, and he is heading out on the road in a couple of days, which is awesome. Going to starting back up with the Bat Experience shows on April, is it the 6th? I think it's the 6th.
Let's see here.
Yeah, he's going back out on the road. 6th and 7th in Phoenix, Arizona. And also, don't forget the 3 shows that I will be going to. One on April 23rd, 2 days after my surgery. One on June 11th, and another one on June 18th. So, yeah, it's going to be awesome. Like I said, the one on the 23rd is actually on his birthday, which is going to be fantastic. I'm sure that's going to be an awesome time. He's going to do something, I don't know. It's his birthday. He's got to, go big or go home, right? So if you have not heard of Caleb Johnson, again, www.calebjohnsonofficial.com. Make sure you go check him out. He's awesome, and you won't regret it.
There you go. Caleb's Corner, brought to you by our very own Abby. Every week on Abby's Window. I feel like that was a commercial. That was weird. I'm talking in commercials now. It's all good, I guess. Okay, so we got a lot to talk about this week when it comes to Wyndham, and he was in Dallas this past weekend for WrestleCon. Chris, what's up, Chris? Good to see you, brother. Been a while. Hanzo, what's up? What's up? Alicia, I saw joined us too. What's up, everybody? So you at WrestleCon. Johnny Bates, what's up? D Tazzy, what's up? He was at WrestleCon doing some meet and greets. And just randomly on Instagram one night, he's like, "I'll answer some questions. So ask away, fire away."
Oh, I missed it. I was asleep.
So you didn't get a chance, and I didn't know either. Like I didn't know that he had done that until after the fact. And I got to shout out Deanna because Deanna sent me all the screenshots that we're gonna go over today. So that
That
was very very nice and very sweet of Deanna. So thank you so much. Because I had no idea until she was like, "Hey, have you heard about this?" And I was like, "No, where was I?" That kind of thing. So yeah, we're gonna start here. Um, let's see. We're gonna start with his return and being in Dallas. So um, someone asked. Well, first let me start here. It says, "Swear if you return to the ring in any kind of way, it's gonna be insane. Definitely miss your work and energy. Me too, man. Me too," says Wyndham. Someone says, "Why are you in Dallas?" "I'm here for WrestleCon." "But it's
Mhm.
whatever, man. Tis the season. Tis the season. Tis the season for what exactly? What do you guys in the chat think you meant by that?" And yes, we're going to break down each of these things. So that because that's what we do. So what do you take away from that, Jody? Like, tis the season. What season should we be talking about here?
Well, I mean, everybody kind of sees WrestleMania as like the new season. You know what I mean? That's kind of when everything starts over. And, wrestling season isn't quite the same as that 12-month. I think they maybe intended to do that with, day one. But it always ends up that WrestleMania is this big reset. You know what I mean? So 'tis the season of, it's WrestleMania. Big people show up and we get lots of surprises, and you end up seeing Vince McMahon take a stunner, and that was definitely not on anybody's lottery wild card. But, it's the season for big changes.
Yeah, yeah. Alicia B saying tis the season means Christmas, and this is wrestling Christmas. Um,
Mhm.
this is
Yeah.
wrestling Christmas. Uh,
And also, like, me personally, like, I know that Wyndham is a believer, so 'tis the season. It's almost Easter too. So 'tis that season.
tis that season. Yeah. Erase your mind saying tis the season for Wyndham Rotunda to keep leading people on.
He's very good at that.
He is. He's good at putting that bait out there, and we take it. We take the cheese every time.
Every time.
Um, all right. So we're gonna go to the next one here, and someone asked him a very deep question. What is the most important life lesson you've learned along the way? And he says, "Business is about thinking with your head, not your heart. So I suck at business." That's interesting.
It's not having like talked to him and met him a couple of times. It's not. He leads with his heart. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's also very protective of it. And he's always been that way. So he's saying he sucks at business because he's very emotionally based,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is it's a good thing and a bad thing because I'm exactly the same way. I'm very my behavior is very emotionally based, and like I said, it can be a good thing at times and it can be a bad thing at times. It gets me into trouble when you know as a leader holding people accountable for stuff they're not doing. I struggle with that because I build such good relationships with the people that I work with and that work for me, that I'm supposed to be leading, and it's a tough position to be in, having to correct them. And so it's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. let's go to this next one. I really like this. Someone asked, "How's your health?" Seriously, and he says, "I have never been more healthy, both physically and mentally. I have been able to challenge myself with projects that would have never been possible before. This is a happy time for me, but I have to be patient. Timing is everything."
Mm-hmm. He's told us that lots of times about timing being everything. Um, he's kind of been telling us that all along. Everything's about the right time. He said that right after he, got released. What do we do now? We wait for the right time, the right place, the right moment. And, the only person that knows what that moment's going to be is him. But this one made me smile because I'm really, as a fan, you're really happy to see that he's happy. And you could tell that at the meet and greet. I mean, you'd probably agree with me there. You could tell that he was just content and happy. And sometimes taking a step back and a step away from something that you've been working your ass off for years, taking that step back and recharging is a good thing. There's definitely a thing to this, vacation mode and switching off your phone and not talking to anybody and just disconnecting, go to the middle of nowhere and I don't know, sit on a beach, whatever you want to do.
I'll say this, and I forget who I told this to at the time, but he looked so rejuvenated.
He did.
Like he just looked so rejuvenated at the meet and greet, and
He looked great.
yeah, I mean, he looked in great shape.
Mhm.
You know, looked like he was doing well. So yeah, I mean, it was really good to see, and to see that answer. We could definitely see it. At the meet and greet, and I'm sure people in Dallas saw it this past weekend too.
Mhm.
All right, so here's the fun one here. Someone ask, when are you gonna feed us baby birds? And Wyndham said, wrestling is so immediate. It took me some time to understand that everything else out there isn't a live, weekly episodic chaos experiment. It took me a second, but I forced myself to be still until I was thinking logically. I'm all in the clear now. It's the quality I'm after. My life's work. My legacy was burned. But I promise you, when I leave the earth, my past will be far from what my legacy stands for.
Whew. There's so much to unravel there.
Yeah.
I mean, the last sentence kind of throws me through a loop a little bit, but obviously as fans, we understand that, his legacy was burnt and, this beautiful journey and story that he wanted to tell was just kind of chopped off at the knees. And that really hurt. And, you know, working in healthcare is kind of similar in that, sometimes you have to force yourself to stay still. And, especially with somebody like him and wrestlers that are traveling all the time and going all over the world and, you know, you are on the move so much that when you sit still, it almost makes you a little dizzy. Like, I shouldn't be sitting still. I should be doing something. Because you're so used to being in that mode. And, I can definitely understand that you have to force yourself to sit still to rejuvenate and, you know, calm your mind down and think clearly and, you know, not just stopping moving physically but mentally too. Like these guys and girls are, they're on the move physically all the time and they're on the move mentally all the time. Their minds are racing on, what's coming up next and how they're going to make sure that this move is safe and that move is safe and how they're going to work this out. And, it's a very demanding lifestyle to, be a wrestler and an athlete just in general. And it's tough to to put that on pause. And I get it 100% because I've had to do it before. I've had to be like, you know what? I need to just disappear for 2 or 3 days and just do nothing but lay in bed and watch TV. And I've done it. And you feel so much better after those 2 days because you finally had a chance to just
Exhale.
mm-hmm.
Let me say hello to Matt joining us. Alicia P saying, same as my disabilities and illnesses before I was go, then I had to stop. There's a there's a lot of go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sometimes God puts those obstacles in our path for that reason, you know, and getting sick and, you know, like for me needing surgery and having to take that day to just think about myself. And, you know, I fully believe in that sometimes those obstacles that force us to slow down were because we weren't listening in the first place.
There's power in rest and recharging.
That's a biblical. On the seventh day, God rested. Everybody has to have that.
That's right. Nothing for me to add to that. I mean, that's you're speaking facts right now.
I mean, you know, thank you for coming today to today's sermon. I am not Stephen Furtick, but
okay, so we got a match over the weekend, and you know we got a return at WrestleMania, pretty big return, and that was against Seth Rollins, and of course I'm talking about Cody Rhodes. And someone asked Wyndham, well, someone mentioned that maybe he's fighting Seth. Maybe they thought that maybe he was the person that was returning, and you know, he was going to be the surprise, but you know, we found out otherwise. But Wyndham says, I love Seth. I love him so goddamn much. Me and him will make up for that one day. And when we do, everyone will understand that wild horses are meant to run free. What's up, James Grant? All right. All right, Jody. I saw you. I see you behind the scenes, you know, shaking that head. So I got to hear your thoughts on this.
I think Seth is almost as much of a wild horse as Wyndham is. I think for me personally, draws that parallel between you don't reach your full potential until you're free. You know what I mean? Like if you compare it to horses, you know, when you're riding a horse that's attached to a carriage, they're not going to go very fast. But if you detach them from that carriage and just go, they're going to, you know, surprise you with how fast they really are.
Yeah.
You know, there's handcuffs, I guess, in a way, hurting your or diminishing your freedom by, you know, being restricted in some way. So that's kind of what I thought he was making that reference to. Sometimes you just have to do exactly what you want to do to reach that full potential.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to go look at Seth and, you know, everything going on with Seth and their whole program, can you imagine if they had, if some of the reins had been pulled off and we keep going back to the horses, you know, to that reference, but if the reins had been taken off and like, listen, you do this thing the way you two want to do it. Can you imagine the magic? I mean, we still got magic, but you know, there were some down spots, but
Not as much magic as we would have gotten if there was no weight on it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, that.
Bird can't fly when the wings are clipped.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You are exactly right. Yeah, and I just saw Brittany's comment. Save her horse, ride a cowboy.
You know what? Amen.
Big Dan saying, Jeff, I feel that if Wyndham comes back to WWE, he is going to ask for creative control. I think he's watching Cody very intently. Listen, and Deanna is like, find me a cowboy. Um, um, James saying Wyndham versus Seth with them fully in control would be such good shit. Um, it would be tremendous. Like it would be tremendous to see that. Absolutely.
Who's to say we won't? Maybe it just won't be in a ring.
There you go. There you go.
Maybe it'll be on a big screen or a small screen.
Hope. Yeah, or a small screen. One could hope. All right, so now we're getting into Cult of Wyndham. So someone says, "Can you please explain the Cult of Wyndham?" And he says simply, "You'll see."
I mean, we kind of got an answer to that, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Jesse came out and said what it was.
Yep.
What it was supposed to be.
Right.
We could definitely still see that too.
That's it.
I mean, obviously, if he's saying you'll see, it might still be in the works to actually do.
Well, I got to throw this one in. This is one that is very interesting here. Someone asks, "Are you allowed to use anything regarding the Fiend outside of WWE? If so, will you continue his story in other ways in other media? Also, really hope to see you visit Australia at some time. Sometime. Regardless of what you do from now on through the future, you are a genius with the things you do and create." Wyndham says, there never was a Fiend. There was only me. I am the Fiend, and I don't need the name, mask, or moniker. I just simply am.
I tell you what, that man is very, very intelligent.
Very.
And he has a way with words. And it's beautiful.
That's why I feel like I need to read it like that, because I feel like, he's just kind of sitting back,
He's sitting on a freaking plane.
Oh,
or at an airport, I think.
Yeah.
That was the picture he posted. He was on
Yeah.
a plane.
He's just, dude has a way with words. I mean, he really does.
Words. He really does. You know what was funny? And he has a fantastic memory. We've talked about that before. And it bothers him when he doesn't remember things correctly. I noticed that he when I went up and talked to him and got the autograph stuff, he said, "You're from Michigan, right?" And I said, "Indiana." And I could tell he was frustrated with himself that he didn't remember that correctly. And I just, he had that look on his face like, damn it, I should have known that. You know what I mean? And he's just got one of those beautiful minds that you just want to sit and pick at it for hours.
Yeah. Now, there's some interesting chatter in the chat. They're talking about this new faction with Edge, and some people are saying, like, what if he comes back? What if he were to come back into that, and you've got the Fiend, or Wyndham, or Bray, Edge, and Damian Priest? but it's the cult of Wyndham.
I think there would be too many parallels as a replacement for the Wyatt family. I think that's just a natural thing that's going to happen if you went that way. Um so I don't know. I think obviously he's great in a faction. We've seen that. He's amazing, but I think he's so much better on his own. He just, I loved him. I loved the Funhouse more when Alexa wasn't part of it. It was still great, when she was part of it, but I just think he's so much better on his own as his own person.
Jesse Callen, thank you for joining. Says, Bray didn't answer my question, my Klondike bar question. Um, Joe saying she needs a new one. I agree though. I think I'd love to see him on his own.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would be cool with him taking on some other people, like multiple people at one time, and kind of. I would like to see him against that faction.
Yeah.
And him and Edge go at it. Like that's what I would love to see. Is him and Edge go at it. I mean, I think that would be tremendous too. But yeah, I agree. I'd love to see him do something on his own. All right. Now this is a deep one. This is deep. Someone asked him about the Firefly Funhouse, and I'm just gonna. He talks about the Firefly Funhouse here. He says, "The Firefly Funhouse, at least the early ones, are a story about my life. I told you stories in there that happened live on television, and many that you could never know. It was confessions. They were short, stylized documentaries about my life. That's why they connected. They weren't just about wrestling. They were an origin story. What I really went through, my struggles, my vices, my comeback, and the war that wages on. I hid so much on there just because I wanted people to feel when they watched. Because believe me, I had every emotion fathomable during the making of those. My life, my art. That's a lot to process there.
Well, that just makes me want to go back and watch them again.
Right.
I mean, we kind of theorized that there were alternate meanings to all of these things, and he was hiding things in there. We've talked about that before, but now I want to go back and watch them all again and really try to digest them and look at them knowing that piece of information.
Yeah. I mean, because now I want to. Everything obviously had a meaning, so now I want to know. Like I want to look at different things, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what, Jody, we should do that.
Yeah.
We should go back and rewatch the Firefly Funhouse episodes and break them down.
I like that.
I think we should do that.
Yeah.
Let us know in the chat if you would like us to do that on Abby's. Maybe take one a week
Mm-hmm.
and just really dissect them, play them and pause them and break them all down.
I mean, that's kind of what we did, every time Kyle released a piece of art, we would zoom in on it and
Yeah, yeah. I mean, analyze the heck out of it.
yeah. To some extent we did that with the Funhouse episodes too,
Yeah.
but now knowing that piece of information that it was so much more than what we saw initially.
Yeah. All right. I mean, we got a bunch of people saying yes to that idea. So,
Okay.
so all right, that's what we'll do. we'll start to do that. Awesome. Glad you all really like that. So, we'll pull them up. We'll start at the beginning, and yeah, and says just tagged you and Jody. Hanzo saying this. Just tagged you and Jody on a post on Twitter. Roman's victims and someone is missing.
Okay. I mean, I get, yeah, you can look at it that way because he took it off of Braun, but I don't know. I don't know. I just, like I said, my knee jerk reaction is I just don't see him going back there. I think he's going to explore and expand his horizons for a little while before he goes back to being in a ring.
Gotcha. Well, funny you should mention that because that's the next quote that I have. Is talking about him being in the ring again. Someone asked, "Are you going to wrestle again?" This is what he says. I will always love wrestling. I couldn't imagine spending the rest of my life without stepping in the ring again and hearing that roar again. I think about it often. Everything has to be in place, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, timing is everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that really speaks to what you just said. And, he says everything has to be in place, though.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Meaning, go
obviously
ahead.
he's got some long-term plans and, thinking about stepping back into the ring. I'm sure he has a good idea of what he wants that to look like and, maybe where he would want to go and how he would like for that to play out. And he's just waiting for that perfect moment and the perfect opportunity to get back in the ring.
I mean, I think it's interesting everything he said there, and it's going to take the right situation.
Mhm.
Like it's got to be the right situation. It's not just. I don't get the sense that he's the type of guy that just does something on a whim.
Mhm.
Everything is thought out and it's methodical.
And
Uh,
calculated.
and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So um, let's see. Deanna saying his reaction to the crowd, his last match spoke volumes.
He paused a lot.
Hmm.
Looking back at it, yeah. I think he kind of knew it was coming. Um, doesn't make it hurt any less, but in a way, maybe that was a good thing because he really got to, if he knew that it was something that was coming and he was going to be released and this was going to be his last big match, he has the ability to really take that in. Whereas if he was blindsided with it, you may have had those thoughts of, man, if I'd have known that when I did that match or whatever, that he would have done it differently, or if he wouldn't have known it going into it.
I rewatched that match recently. I think it was my days are blending together at this point, but I was watching that match just because it was Saturday because I was showing the kids they wanted to see the Fiend. They were like, "We want to see the Fiend. We want to see what he looks like," because I told them that they were going to get to watch WrestleMania and they wanted to see his entrance. So I said, I want to show them the entrance from 37 just so they could see that cool transformation that he made.
Mm-hmm.
And and they were like, "Oh my goodness, that's cool." And he came out of the box like a jack in the box. I was like,
He's a pretty cool dude.
yeah, he is. Okay. James Chadwick giving some information on who produced the match with Logan Paul and the Miz and the Mysterios, and then the Knoxville match. That was hilarious. We were rolling.
Oh my gosh, I was dying.
If you, if you didn't check out our watch along, just if you can go back and if you have time, take a look at it. We had such a fun time with that Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville match, and a lot of the night was just so fun. So, uh, so yeah, definitely go check that out if you weren't with us for that. Hanzo saying, I think the last Firefly Funhouse, he seemed like he knew his time was ending, but the story never ends, etc.
I think he'll find another way to tell his story the way he wanted to.
Yeah.
Just
Mark,
not ring.
Mark says, "Hey Jody and Jeff, here's a question that I have is about last night, but in a way ties into Wyndham. After Roman Reigns won last night and unified the titles, my thought was, how would Wyndham feel if he saw Roman win and unify the titles? I mean, I think it was Roman taking down Wyndham that started this whole reign that Roman is having.
Kind of.
Kind of, yeah, yeah. He, when he pinned
Braun.
Braun. Um, yeah, that kind of started the momentum that we're seeing here in his evolution.
Yeah. I mean, as a man, I'm sure that he has a lot of respect for everybody that he worked with. That's just how he is. But I don't know. It's there's different feelings about that. It's Roman being a heel, and you had so much more interest in it, I guess, because we've seen that match a bazillion times, but never quite like this. Normally it was Brock who was the heel and Roman who was, the hero. And, this time the hero lost. And I don't know. I was okay with it. I'm glad that they're unifying the titles. I think that's going to add a lot more of a dynamic to Raw and SmackDown, because now that champion can go back and forth. It opens up a whole lot more people that can, challenge Roman for that title. And at some point, somebody will beat him. That's inevitable. I agree with Big Dan. I think Big E should be the one to dethrone Roman. I would like that.
Okay, so yeah, Big Dan saying, see, Wyndham needs to stay away from Roman for a while, in my opinion. If he comes back, I think Cody or Big E. Yep.
I could see Big E toppling the tribal chief. I could go for that. Somebody has to beat him at some point.
Somebody, yeah. And I think it's interesting too. We're kind of off on this Roman thing now, but his arm, I don't know if you got a chance to see some of the pictures of his arm. He might be legitimately injured that show. So that changes a lot too. If that's the case, that changes a lot.
Yeah.
The story will have to be continued in a different way, and how, yeah, goodness. Deanna saying, if Big E can come back, yes. If not, Cody, because I see the Cody thing as a family thing. Cody said he wants to beat. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that too. I mean, it's definitely a new feud. I think we will definitely see that at some point. We're going to see Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, 100%. I actually think Roman and AJ would have a good feud.
I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Um, I think that would be tremendous. You could even say phenomenal. Pun intended. Uh, all right. So then the last one, and Joe pointed this out on our Twitter. He said, "Thank you, everyone. I'll see you this week." Now, a lot of people are going to say, "Well, you know what? He's talking about seeing everyone in Dallas." Could there be more to that, though?
I think when it comes to Wyndham, there's always more than what he actually said. I mean, yes, you could deduce that he was talking about, seeing everybody at the convention, and that was that week. But we are in a new week now. So whatever that was, we didn't see it, except people got to meet him in Dallas. Now, if he would have said, I'll see you next week, that would definitely make me go, where's he going to show up next week? But why did he pick week? Why didn't he say, I'll see you all tomorrow?
Or Saturday, or whatever
Saturday, or whatever day it was.
Yeah.
But it's Monday now.
It is Monday.
It's a new week. It's not this week anymore.
Right. So we shall see. I mean, I know some people are like, "Oh, he's gonna show up here, show up there." I don't.
I think I'm gonna stick with. I think he's gonna be working on other things for a while.
Tazzy with an interesting comment. And hello, Roy. How are you? Tazzy saying, "I wonder if in Dallas, Wyndham Events had a secret meeting."
I don't know. I mean, that's always possible. They were all in the same place at the same time. My question is, did they book Bray for this convention maybe before he got released?
Now, I do know that WWE is relaxing a lot of their former rules that they had, where people can do the cameo thing and third party thing and be able to do signings like this. So I mean, who knows? Jesse saying, "No, why didn't he say this weekend if he was referring to Saturday and Sunday?" I've been wondering about that since I first saw his comment.
Yeah. I mean, he's, like I said, he's got a way with words, and you never know. You won't know what that means until it all plays out.
Yeah, until it happens.
And then you'll look back and go, that's what he meant.
Now, Roy is just going to ask right out. He's like, "Do you think the Fiend comes back tonight?"
No.
You don't think he comes back tonight?
Mm-mm.
Hanzo, I think if he does come back, he needs to keep the Fiend away for the big occasions, promos, big matches. Let Funhouse Bray, Cult Leader Bray take the spotlight. Let the Abomination watch the madness.
I think if he was going to return to WWE, that's the way they should do it. Slow. Mm-hmm. Very slow. Little hints here and there, for weeks. You know what I mean? Like, just have these little hints, and like Puppet Watch, only it would be more than just puppets. Like, maybe they have a light that goes out, or something weird backstage happens, or like just build it up, these little tiny nuances that unless you're looking for them, you really would notice, and then slowly, gradually build up, and then have him show up at a pay-per-view unannounced, and everybody just be like, kind of like Cody did. I mean, the rumors were out there, but we didn't really know until he came up out of that stage. Mm-hmm. Something like that, but it's been building for months. And I'm like, could it be? It might be. I don't know. And then he comes out and you're just like, oh. And then everything that you've been, could be Bray over the past 6 months or whatever. He'll just be like, "Yep, I was right."
Let me get to some of these comments here. Jesse saying Bray doesn't screw up words. He words things intentionally. I took this week to mean this week we're in now. Are now in. Deanna saying I had a moment when the lights went out, but I knew it wasn't. Yeah, there was a brief moment where people were like, "Could it be? Could it be?"
Yes.
Roy saying I think he will come back and fight Undertaker. Remember, Taker said never say never. That would be an interesting last foray for them. HPC Too Sweet saying I love it. Book it. Joining us from Twitch. Big Dan, if he comes back tonight, Jodie will need oxygen and she'll need be more verklempt than Linda Rickman on SNL's Coffee Talk. Erase Your Mind saying what happens when he does surprisingly show up? Will the insiders have a breaking video? You better believe it. You better believe it.
We'll be live within about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean that'll happen.
Yeah.
I know Alicia was trying to get us an interview with him and a few other people. She's been trying to do that for us. We appreciate it. If I get Seth Rollins Hell in a Cell match, I'm going to be like 2 months away.
I mean, and you know, I did give that little spoiler out on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So if you weren't in the stream on Saturday, because it was my birthday and I was feeling a little bit generous, you know, I did say a little bit of what Bray's response was when I asked him when he was coming on Abby's. And he'll be on here at some point. I don't know when it's gonna be because I'm waiting for pretty much just waiting for him to give us a date. But I'm gonna hold him to the promise that he made that he will be on our show at some point.
There you have it. There you have it. You know what? I can use this graphic now. I can use this graphic if I still have it. And that, folks, is your breaking news. That just broke on here. So, good stuff. Good stuff. At some point, and obviously, whenever that is, we will be letting you all know.
Yes.
We will be marketing the hell out of that.
I'm 99.9% sure it will be a pre-recorded thing just because, you know, we obviously he has a story to tell, and that's something that he told me when I asked him about Abby's. He's like, you know, well, I've got a very special story to tell, and you know, I definitely don't want to hinder him from being able to tell it the way that he wants to. And I think the best way to do that would just be to pre-record it once I do have a date. I think it would be a good a good idea to, you know, have people submit questions and maybe we can just draw some out of a hat and he can answer a few if he'd like to, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. We'll keep you all posted.
I'm pretty much just gonna let him do whatever he wants to do is fine.
Hanzo saying the book of Bray is going well. If you want to send anything in, let me know. Also, going to create an Abby's Window T-shirt for Liverpool. Got to represent. Listen, we already have one.
We do.
We do. I will send you a link on Twitter, Hanzo. I will let you. I will send you that so you can get one. But we have a store. We have merch that you can purchase. And yeah, we have Abby's Window shirt. So, Unbroken. Would Bray make a movie which would you prefer? I guess Tim Burton or David Lynch? Ooh, that's tough. Would you rather have him in a Tim Burton movie or a David Lynch movie? That is tough. Like I'd love to see some type of animated kind of.
I mean, you think of Tim Burton, and you know, I think that would suit the Fiend very well, that particular style. Um, but you know, I think as long as Tom Savini's involved, we'll be all good. Doesn't really matter who makes it. Yes, I would like. Yeah, I would love Rob Zombie to make a movie about the Fiend. I'm 100% with you, Alicia. 100%. And Hanzo, I haven't forgotten about my message to send to you. I've just been crazy busy.
Same here. As soon as I saw that, I was like, shoot, I forgot to send him something. I'm sorry. It's been a little bit crazy, but we'll get you something. We'll get you something. James Chadwick saying Stephen King.
I think Rob Zombie would kill it. I
Yeah.
really do. Especially if you add Tom Savini into it and Jason Baker. And I think they would just, I mean, because I will probably get murdered for saying this, but I actually really liked Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween better than the original because it was just so good. I absolutely loved it. But I was also new to the Halloween thing until that was one of the first ones that I saw. So
Yeah.
I loved it. I think Rob Zombie makes amazing movies. I mean, you look at Devil's Rejects and I just so good.
Gene saying a Tim Burton like his live action ones would be super cool. Yeah, I mean not necessarily the different animation that he's done, but yeah, that would be cool too. Um, yeah, that would be freaking phenomenal. That would be phenomenal.
Mhm.
Now we've got everybody talking about these different horror movies and different directors.
I mean,
Um,
that's kind of what we talked about last week was having him go up against these massive movie monsters and bring it.
would be tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany agrees with you, Jody. All right, so we got about 5 minutes to go. Before we wrap up, I do want to say we will have a Raw watch along on this channel at starting at 7:45. So we're gonna go get some dinner and all that stuff. I know Jody has to work early tomorrow, so I don't think she'll be joining us.
I will try to join for a few minutes before I go to bed, but I have to get up at 6 a.m. So
Yeah, that's early. That is early. So yeah, we'll see what happens tonight on Raw. Come back and join us if you would like. We would greatly appreciate it.
you know damn well if Bray shows up, I will run my ass up here
Yeah,
and get
yeah.
ready. So
And if he shows up and you're not on, I will text and call you
okay.
until that happens. So,
I'm pretty sure if for some reason I fell asleep and he showed up, my husband would run into the bedroom and be like, you need to wake your ass up right now.
yeah. Uh, so yeah, we'll be back at 7:45. Joe will be here. Tazzy will be here. I will be here. Jody, for a little bit. So, yeah, come back and hang out with us if you don't mind. Um, Deanna saying she'll hear Jody from here.
I think the cops might show up at my house.
They might show up there. Um, so any final thoughts before we go, just about everything that we got from them, or anything anything else before we head out?
Bray is the master of words, and we both love him and hate him for it.
Yes.
We love him because we love him, but we hate it because we want more all the time.
Yeah. All the time. I mean, We wanna. We want to.
I love the Jamie Vardy reference. I salute you.
Yeah, we want to have more. We get the teases and we get all that stuff, but we want to know more. We want to.
I want to know it all.
Yeah.
I want to know all of it. Like, that's part of my, I don't know, my thinking when he comes on here is just be like, I want to know everything. Just talk. Like, I'm just going to sit here and listen. It won't even be an interview. It'll be like Bray storytelling.
We're hungry for more.
Yeah, we'll just be sitting here like, wow.
Hmm. Or we just, mouths wide open, kind of
Mhm.
eyes wide, kind of thing. Uh, let's see here. This story is too much not to want to know, says Deanna. I agree.
I mean, I kind of take that back. I don't say I want to know everything, but I definitely want more. I want to know more. But I want to know everything. I mean, sometimes when you see behind the curtain, you kind of lose appreciation for it a little bit. But I I definitely want to know more.
Yeah. Yeah. Inquiring minds want to know.
I
We
think
want.
probably be how it goes. We'll just be like, what do you want to say? It's all yours.
Floor is yours. Talk for however long you want to talk.
Yep.
If it's 3 hours, we'll break it up into 1 hour episodes.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Brittany commenting and congratulating me and complimenting me on my hair, my flawless hair today. Thank you so much, Brittany. I appreciate that. I thought I was having a bad hair day earlier. Um, Apparently not. Apparently it looks good today. So, uh, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And on that note, because I'm having a good hair day. We will see all of you hopefully for Raw for the Raw watch along. So thank you all for joining us for Abby's window. We greatly appreciate it. And if you don't mind, there's a little favor we'll ask. Drop a like on this video if you don't mind. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you heard and want to hear more, then subscribe to the channel and hit that post notification bell, and that way you'll know every time we're on. So just in case when he does come back and we drop that video, you'll be notified that we're going live. So all right, everyone, stay safe. Thank you for joining, and we will see you hopefully at 7:45. Take care.